Hello, beautiful. Welcome to my podcast,
Right.
Journey to Healing the Divine Feminine. I'm Jill, your host, and thank you so much for joining us. As we do our own healing, we heal our mother, planet Earth, home. So I am here for you. I see you, I hear you, and I want to welcome my first guest here with me today, my soul sister, Sarah Beth Green. She's coming all the way from Texas. I'm here in Hawaii. And I'd like to introduce Sarah to all of you. Sarah Beth Green is a certified energy healer and CDC divorce care specialist, serving individuals experiencing divorce in order to reduce spiritual, financial, and emotional damage during one of life's most difficult journeys. Her work in domestic and refugee foster care led to a desire to heal trauma with a holistic focus. After receiving certification in energy medicine from the Four Winds Society, she went on to work at the school as a staff member and workshop assistant with the founder, Dr. Alberto Villoldo. During her practice over a decade, she has published an energy medicine workbook for children, studied childhood trauma and addiction, and ran her own nonprofit for underserved youth. She is also a certified SMART recovery facilitator and as a current volunteer advocate for Denton County. Sarah specializes in family drug court cases. Outside her passion for her work, Sarah is an avid reader and fiber artist and proud single mother of four amazing children. And may I add, four-legged dog, Happy. Don't forget that, Sarah.
Right.
Welcome, welcome, my sister.
Oh, thank you for having me. I was listening to that and I'm like, man, I have been able to do so much cool stuff, and I'm only like halfway done with my life, or maybe less. So like I've been able to do so much stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you again. I know we met through the Four Winds, and still on that journey. I asked you to speak about one thing about your journey to healing the divine feminine. And you had shared with me, and you'll share with all of us here about allowance. And so I have Sacred Geometry Activation Oracle by this beautiful quantum artist, Lon, and allowance. I want to show you the visual of this allowance card. Look at that. And we're in a nine numeric numerology year of allowance. And so the frequency of allowance invites us to be open for whatever comes our way without judgment, without opinion, without fear, without resistance. When we allow the universe becomes our partner in the wondrous dance of existence and expansion. Sarah, I have been as well with you with this allowance, just allowing to receive. And tell us more about how you allowed.
Yeah, I think I grew up, generationally, the women in my family are hyper independent, and there's, an undercurrent belief that men can't be trusted. And so we have to do everything for ourselves because we can't trust our partners to show up for us. And that showed up for me. My last husband would, say, "You're such a control freak. You're such a control freak." And it's true. I was really because I didn't feel that support of the universe or my partner, that I would be safe if I didn't manage all of the things. So when that marriage ended, I knew I really needed to, I did a lot of therapy, and I was like, what do I need? And what I needed was to learn how to receive. You know, I,
Yeah.
I own a business, I'm a mom, I have all these children. I have spent my entire life doing all the,
Hmm.
I've done all the things. And I was curious, is like, what happens if I do nothing?
Mm.
What happens if I,
Surrender, right?
yeah, what happens
Surrendering.
if I just don't do, you know? And so that was my question for myself. And so I just really sat this last year in non-doing, the
Mm,
art of non-doing, and just I only did what I had to do to, keep a roof over my head and I didn't try to build anything or make new programs or serve my clients in a huge way or anything. I just was like, I'm just gonna coast. My friend Daphne calls it coasting. So I was coasting
mm,
for a year, and the stuff that showed up was so cool. It was so cool. A career pivot showed up. I didn't have to ask for it. It was a total random conversation, and so now that's where I'm sitting now, is in this office in this new space that I'm working. And uh, just the stuff that showed up was so cool. And I also learned that with that allowance piece, and we're like doing that, we're allowing, that discernment is important too.
mm,
That's the second
mm,
component. Because when we're just, okay, what's coming, then we get to really be discerning about what we say yes or no to. Because we don't have to say yes,
Yes, that's important.
you know. Yeah.
Yes,
It was a
discernment.
piece, yeah, it was a piece for me in dating when I started dating after my divorce. My daughter was like, "You should date, you're home on the weekends." And I'm like, "I'm going to do this as an opportunity to learn more about myself, just and to have experiences. I'm not attached to having a partner or attached to any outcome. Again, I'm just going to allow it to be what it is."
Mm,
Um, but I noticed in that process, some of the things I was saying yes to were old patterns.
mm,
And it wasn't, and I was like, I'm not saying yes to that anymore. And then in walks my partner now. It was,
mm,
what I had been like, and so where he showed up and was like, "Look, I know you're not really dating, but could we like have coffee?" And I said, "Yeah, if you'll come to the end of my street to the coffee shop and I'm wearing my pajamas, like
ah, ah. How did
so
that go, Sarah?
it was great. I think more people should do pajama coffee dates, because it
Right?
was like how I show up. You know,
Exactly.
I'm relaxed. He came in sweatpants. We sat there for 4 hours. We've been together ever since, and it's been magical and wonderful. But had I not said no energetically, like I'm not doing that, I'm not allowing that, I wouldn't have had the space to go, oh, okay, maybe this, you know, and that
Yeah.
discernment piece came in when like feeling like how I felt in my body when I spent time with him, like
Mm,
what's going on and the joy that I felt. And it was very different than any other relationship I'd ever started, which was all the fire and the magic and the intensity and that was not working for me. Um, and so I use that discernment piece to go, okay, this feels different and good, and it feels good in my body. Um,
mm,
yeah, and so that showed up. My relationships with my children shifted, just from a different space of just sitting back, and I have three adult children and a teenager, and just being like, yeah, okay, so what do you need right now? Like just kind of letting that all just be. Um,
mm,
yeah, and it was funny. I think we're hardwired, especially as women business owners. The thing I hate the most is the hashtag boss babe stuff. I hate that. On the grind, we're getting it. We're gonna stay all day, all of that, I think it's trash because I think it perpetuates this myth that we have to constantly be in motion and constantly be striving and constantly be grinding it out. And what I learned last year is we don't.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah. I'm still learning that too, Sarah. I'm still navigating through that softness and stillness and the receptivity, right? This is what the divine feminine is all about, receiving,
Yeah.
allowing, allowing that space to just let come in. What else? So you've allowed a new relationship, a new career path, you said. You're allowing your um just to be with your children. Is there anything else that you can share with us? And I definitely can, concur with you. I found myself in that pattern of doing. So I'm still in that, okay, let's just take a step back and allow the universe to work its magic because that's what it is, magic.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I think that the memes, or whatever that say hyper independence is a trauma response are true. And I learned or perceived, I chose to perceive at a very early age that nobody would protect me, people wouldn't take care of me, people wouldn't show up. Um, and so, of course, the work I do is like children and families and in crisis, of course,
Mhm.
you know. Um, and so I had to, and it's very difficult when you're in that space of that hyper independent and like I have to do it all of allowing other people to do for you because there's this piece of, but what if they don't? But the other side of that is, what if they do?
Mhm. Yeah.
And so it was a real fear-based thing of, and when I started this new relationship, it was crazy to me because I had done this total shift and I had chosen somebody different than what I had chosen in the past. And he would like make a reservation and come pick me up and open my car door, and like, and all of this caretaking was happening.
Mhm.
Um, and it was very foreign to me. I had always been the caretaker. I've raised 13 children besides my, like including my four as a foster parent. So I'd always done all this caretaking and watched my mother do all this caretaking and sacrificing of self. And so it was like, what is this? What is this piece here? And I realize it's because I wasn't putting myself in situations to allow myself to receive because it was like, what if people don't show up? You know?
Mhm.
But man,
Mhm.
when they do, and people want to, we just sometimes have people in our lives that aren't equipped to do it in a way that we can receive. I believe that
Mhm.
most of the population wants to show up for other people and wants to be helpful and wants to be loving. But sometimes it's not in alignment with what our needs are. Um, and so that was a piece. And then, even I'm still in this space career-wise. I did a huge career shift. I left my traditional energy medicine practice. I'm doing divorce work now of all crazy things. I'm a shamanic practitioner in a law firm, doing conscious divorce and blended family work with clients. We're really
I
helping
love
people
that.
navigate this piece, and I'm building it. And no one's really done this before, and we don't really know what we're doing. And so it's just, and the flow, it's been a long build. Um, there's still some pieces on the end that we're still like, okay, this works better, that, fine tuning. I don't know what it's going to look like. I know that this felt really good and exciting to me, just like my relationship. And I was like, this was a full body yes. Um, I'm trusting, I'm following that I feel that receiving this opportunity that was offered to me and this partnership with work, that it's going to support me. But I don't know. I
Mhm.
don't,
Yep.
I don't,
Yep.
I don't know. But being willing to let go of that fear piece,
Yep.
of just like I have been so taken care of this last year when I did nothing except for show up with my clients and show up for the commitments I needed to do.
Sure.
Um, I was beautifully supported. And so
Mm.
I expect, it shifted my expectation
Yeah.
that thing will continue.
Yeah. I love that you said full body because our body is it's like, when you walk into a room and you feel something's off. So you knew it. You said you felt it, full body, yes. Let's, trust that. Um, I'm learning more to trust that feeling within my body. Yeah. The skin, right? Our largest organ. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And I want to speak to this because there are, I think, people that have different perspectives. I'm like, well, it must be nice to just, have this business and just not to have to da 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 and and be able to travel and do these things and about the life that I've built. I've heard some of this. Must be nice to just have to, work a few hours a day. Well, first of all, you're not thinking about all the things that are happening on the back end for somebody to run a
Right.
business
Yeah.
and meet clients and get people in the door and all of that piece. But you know, this is a choice that I made, and
Yeah.
other people can make whatever choices they want to make for themselves. But they're in this mindset of I have to get up and I have to go to work every day and like, trade my hours for a paycheck, these sorts of things. That's old paradigm thinking, I believe. I think
Mhm,
we're seeing that
mhm.
shift away. Um, but you could do something different. You could,
Yeah,
what if you just like allowed some other opportunities? What if you were just open to
yeah,
receiving something else and then had the willingness to do maybe something that feels a little scary,
yeah,
that you
yeah.
don't know? Like, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Exactly, exactly. So, um, if something isn't working, why are you keep doing it? So try something new. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been kind of
Yeah.
going through. Like, kind of feeling that, as you were saying, getting up in the morning, you know, um, yeah. So changing the mindset, changing your perception, yeah, attitude, all of that.
Because I think, I spoke about this at a women's group a few months ago about the art of allowance, and so much of that word is around what am I willing to allow? It's about boundaries. It's very aggressive. It's very no, it's fences, it's walls, it's I'm not going to allow that, but we
Mhm.
forget in that piece to think about what are we willing to allow?
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, right? Like in this stance of I'm not going to allow that. I'm not going to allow. Even the word allowance has this finite thing to it. Like you're a kid and you get
Mm.
like $5 and then it runs out. You know?
I remember that. Oh, yeah. See,
So what
changing
what
that.
is it? Yeah, what is it that we're not allowing? Like, are you not allowing yourself freedom or flexibility in your thinking to see if life could be a different way? Are you not
Mhm.
allowing yourself? I think a lot of times with my divorce clients, they're in it, right? Like they're so in it and
Mhm.
it's so traumatic and they're so activated in their bodies
Yeah.
that,
Fire, right? The fire element,
oh, yeah.
which is
And
anger and all of that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And when we start having conversations, I'll start taking them, what could your life look like afterwards? What
Mhm.
could people are convinced I have to keep the house and it's going to be very difficult and hard. And I'm like, okay, but if you didn't, then what? And
Mhm.
take it in that, it's like, oh, it's that mind shift. Oh, I could allow myself to think
Yeah.
about different options or possibilities here. And you see when people start thinking, when we start dreaming
Yeah.
about new possibilities, people's posture changes, their bodies shift, different neurons are firing, and so it changes the conversation.
No. I'm so excited, Sarah. I'm so excited for your new journey because there are so many people. I know so many people that are going through uncoupling. I call it. I had two conscious uncouplings. They were very amicable and were still, very respectful. Not all people have that. We're all on our own journey. And I just love that you are holding that space for couples going through this big life change.
Well, and kudos to the firm where I am for recognizing that there's a
Yeah.
need for people to have emotional support and emotional regulation skills in this process. And so it's relatively new. It's a relatively new field, and so we're finding that like clients are saving a ton of money because they're going, oh, maybe I don't need to fight about that.
Right.
Maybe I don't need to spend $5,000 fighting over sheets. And people do that.
I
People,
know.
I
I
sit,
just
yeah.
I love it. And I think that there will be more opportunities for other men and women like yourself, bringing that shamanic energy and all of your skills, all of the tools. Um, yeah, I'm excited for you.
I'm excited too. It feels so good. And big pivot from like, what I was doing, having to wear, busy business lady clothes as I call them. And but I am loving this and like the energy. And I've always been a person about like, where do I serve? Where do I serve? And people joke with me
Mhm.
about, oh, what hard and awful thing are you doing now? Like my work in drug court with foster kids. And, it's brutal work. But I feel like that if I want to have an impact and I want to create change in the world and I want to be the change I want to see, we're a better place to serve, but in the darkest places, right? And so I
Mhm.
really am meeting people at their darkest hour and hopefully, we work together and sharing some light and hopefully providing better outcomes. I know we are, I know
Yeah.
that I am. I'm seeing it. Yeah.
Good. Well, that's exciting. And before we go, I would love for you to share maybe a tool, something that you would like to share with others on their journey to healing. Again, the divine feminine, this allowance. Anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think one of the tools I kind of recommend the most is not a traditional one that people would think, but I primarily work with women. I find it very fascinating that women are the ones primarily seeking out this kind of personal development, self-work, that sort of thing. It's probably like a 9-to-1 ratio is what I'm seeing right
Mm.
now. And I love The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have my copy here. I wish I did, but The Artist's Way by Julia
Yes.
Cameron is a 12-week process to connecting to spirit and your own inner creativity and wisdom. And so it's women that are going through divorce, a lot of times they don't have their kids like they normally do, and they don't, or for anybody that just needs some focused time for themselves. The artist way, you do a little, take yourself on an artist date every week. There's journaling, there's exercises. I normally take a group through it every year. I'm not doing it this year because too much on my plate. But it is a beautiful, beautiful process. And the things that people discover about themselves and the ways that they are blocked or not allowing themselves to receive are profound. Every time we do a group, it's good.
Wow, thank you. And I will put that in the description box below here on my YouTube channel. And Sarah, your contact information, if anybody wants to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you?
My socials are all the yarning shaman or just yarning shaman. So I'm a knitter, that's where that comes from. But that's what my socials are. So you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads. I've been loving Threads lately. So
Mm.
yeah,
Sarah's on it. Social media, I love it. And I will put that down below as well. So anyone who would like to reach out to Sarah, I know she is an amazing medicine woman. So honored to be walking this path with you, and I so thank you for your time. Is there anything else before we wrap this up? I think this was wonderful. I think it's great information. Sarah, your medicine, your gifts. Anything else?
no, I just appreciate you being here. Oh, and my website is yarningshaman.com. So there's that. I forgot to say that. I'm like the worst about that stuff. But no, I appreciate you having me here. I appreciate the chance to talk and the service that you're offering is important. Like this
Yeah.
piece,
Yeah,
you are right.
I really feel like a lot of women are stepping up, stepping into their authentic women, their whatever gifts you have. Remember, we're all on this journey, all paths lead. We're here as midwives, birthing this new earth. I'm excited. This is a whole new adventure for me, something so out of my comfort zone. But I plan on to have so much fun. It is honestly an honor to speak with. I'll have so many other women and men as well, because there are men that are really starting to do the work as well. So we'll see where this leads. But again, I want to say thank you so much. Love, Munai, Mahalo, aloha to you, Sarah, and your family. And to all of you, thank you so, so much.
Thank you, Jill. Thanks.